Throughout history, many of the items we enjoy at our tables have changed in composition, labeling, and even legal classification. As food standards evolved, several everyday products were redefined, no longer meeting the official requirements to be considered food in the eyes of regulatory agencies. Yet they continued to remain part of modern households, appreciated for their familiarity, convenience, or long-standing presence in American life. Today, we will take a calm and steady look at some of the products that no longer fit the traditional definition of food, while still holding a place in kitchens across the country. Each item carries its own history, its own reasons for reclassification, and its own connection to the evolving story of how Americans eat. Kraft Singles. Kraft Singles have been familiar to American families since the mid-20th century, offering a smooth and convenient slice of processed cheese. Despite their long-standing popularity, they no longer meet the legal qualifications to be labeled as cheese. The product contains a blend of milk, whey, emulsifiers, and preservatives that create its recognizable texture and melting quality. Because the amount of actual cheese in each slice falls below the required threshold, the official label now refers to them as pasteurized prepared cheese product. For many families, Kraft Singles represent childhood lunches, simple snacks, or easy additions to a warm meal. The slices melt consistently and hold their shape, making them practical for grilled cheese sandwiches or topping a hamburger. Their history reflects the shift toward processed foods during the 1950s and 1960s, a time when convenience became an important part of American cooking. Even though the classification changed, their place in everyday life remained steady, showing how cultural familiarity often outweighs official definitions. Breyers frozen dairy dessert. Breyers was once known for producing traditional ice cream made from cream, sugar, and vanilla. However, changes in formulation during the early 21st century led many of its flavors to be reclassified as frozen dairy dessert. According to federal standards, ice cream must contain a minimum amount of dairy fat and cannot rely too heavily on stabilizers or gums. As Breyers adjusted its recipes to create a lighter texture and longer shelf life, the resulting products no longer met the criteria for ice cream. Frozen dairy dessert contains less butterfat and often incorporates more air, giving it a softer and slightly fluffier consistency. Many families continued to purchase it due to its familiar branding and gentle flavor, while others noted the differences in texture when compared to traditional ice cream. This shift reflects broader changes in processed foods, where ingredient lists evolved to meet production needs and consumer expectations. Despite the new classification, the product remains part of many freezers because it offers a light, accessible treat with a recognizable taste. Hot dogs, meat food product. Hot dogs have been part of American culture for generations, appearing at ball games, cookouts, and family gatherings. Over time, however, certain varieties no longer fit the strict legal definition of a meat product. Instead, some are labeled as a meat food product, indicating that they include meat combined with additional fillers, binders, or non-meat ingredients in proportions that fall outside traditional standards. A typical hot dog may contain beef, pork, or poultry blended with seasonings, curing agents, and water. When these proportions shift beyond what regulations allow for meat classification, the product receives the updated label. Even with these changes, hot dogs continue to hold a place in American culinary life because of their affordability, easy preparation, and long-standing tradition. Many families appreciate them as part of simple weekday meals or festive outdoor cooking. Their continued popularity shows how certain foods remain cherished regardless of technical classification, reminding us of the comfort found in familiar flavors. Lunchables. Lunchables first appeared in grocery stores during the late 1980s, offering a ready-to-eat meal designed for convenience and portability. Over time, the composition of certain Lunchables items changed, leading some to be classified as a snack kit rather than a complete food. This occurred because the combined items inside the package, such as crackers, processed cheese slices, and cured meats, did not meet the nutritional or regulatory standards associated with a traditional meal. Despite the reclassification, Lunchables remain widely used among busy families and school-aged children. The small compartments, simple assembly, and gentle flavors create a sense of independence for young eaters, allowing them to build their own small sandwiches or arrange their food in familiar patterns. The evolution of Lunchables reflects broader cultural changes in convenience foods and modern schedules. Even though they may not be labeled as a full meal, they continue to provide a quick and accessible option for many households. Margarine. Margarine has traveled a long path from its origins in 19th century France to its role in modern kitchens. Originally created as an affordable alternative to butter, margarine went through various formulations involving vegetable oils, emulsifiers, water, and sometimes small amounts of dairy. As food standards became more refined, certain types of margarine no longer fit the requirements to be labeled as a dairy product or a natural fat. Instead, they fall under classifications such as spread or vegetable oil spread. These products often differ in fat content, moisture level, and processing techniques. Some versions contain less saturated fat than butter, while others focus on maintaining a smooth and spreadable texture straight from the refrigerator. For many families, margarine continues to serve as a staple due to its affordability and long shelf life. Its presence at breakfast tables across the decades demonstrates how familiarity and practicality often guide food choices, even when official classifications shift. Sugary breakfast cereals. Sugary breakfast cereals became especially popular during the mid-20th century, as companies marketed them to children with colorful packaging and sweet flavors. Over time, some cereals were classified not as food, but as fortified grain products, due to their high sugar content, processing methods, and reliance on added vitamins and minerals to meet basic nutritional guidelines. Many regulations require certain standards for a food's nutrient density, and cereals that depend heavily on fortification rather than natural ingredients may fall outside these definitions. Cereals often contain toasted grains, sweeteners, and flavoring agents that create a light and crunchy texture. Despite their classification, they remain a morning tradition for countless families. The quick preparation and familiar taste make them a convenient option for busy households. Their evolving status reflects the broader conversation about nutrition and modern eating habits, while their steady presence in grocery stores shows the continued appeal of simple, accessible foods. Frozen dinners. Frozen dinners rose to prominence in the 1950s as households embraced new technologies and time-saving solutions. These meals combined a main dish with sides, all packed into divided trays designed to be heated in the oven. Over time, changes in formulation and processing led some varieties to be categorized not as meals, but as frozen entrees, particularly when their nutritional content or portion ratios did not meet regulatory definitions for a complete meal. Many frozen dinners contain a blend of meats, vegetables, starches, and sauces created through industrial cooking methods. As recipes shifted to accommodate cost, storage, and flavor consistency, some items could no longer be labeled under their original food category. Even so, frozen dinners remain a staple for individuals who appreciate the convenience of a ready-to-heat option with familiar flavors. Their staying power highlights the role of modern food technology in shaping everyday routines, offering comfort and accessibility during busy periods of life. Imitation crab. Imitation crab, sometimes known as surimi, has been part of American grocery stores since the late 20th century. Rather than being traditional crab meat, it is made from minced white fish blended with starches, egg whites, and seasonings. Because it does not meet the definition of seafood derived directly from shellfish, the product is classified as imitation crab rather than crab itself. This classification ensures clarity for consumers, especially those with allergies or dietary restrictions. The gentle flavor and soft texture of imitation crab make it suitable for salads, sushi rolls, and seafood-style dishes. It offers an affordable and accessible alternative to real crab while maintaining visual similarities. Many individuals enjoy it for its mild taste and versatility, showing how a carefully crafted substitute can find a stable place in everyday cooking. Its classification reflects transparency in labeling, rather than a commentary on quality, illustrating how food identity is shaped by both ingredients and regulation. Whipped toppings. Whipped toppings have appeared in American desserts since the mid-20th century, offering a light and airy addition to pies, cakes, and fruit bowls. Unlike traditional whipped cream, which must be made primarily from dairy cream, whipped toppings are produced using water, vegetable oils, sweeteners, and stabilizers. As a result, many varieties do not meet the legal definition of cream and are instead labeled as whipped topping or non-dairy whipped topping. Their smooth texture and consistent shape make them a convenient choice for parties and gatherings. Whipped toppings can remain stable for longer periods than dairy-based cream, and they maintain their form even when used in layered desserts. For many families, they evoke memories of holiday meals and shared celebrations. Their reclassification simply reflects the difference in ingredients, while their continued use highlights the comfort found in familiar traditions. American cheese slices. American cheese slices have long been associated with sandwiches, hamburgers, and grilled cheese. Their melting quality and mild flavor made them a fixture in many homes throughout the 20th century. However, certain varieties no longer meet the legal definition of cheese due to their ratio of dairy to added ingredients such as whey, emulsifying salts, and preservatives. These items are often labeled as processed cheese product or processed cheese food, depending on the exact composition. The slices offer a uniform texture and predictable melt, making them easy to incorporate into hot meals. Their widespread use reflects a time when processed foods became an important part of American culinary identity, emphasizing consistency and convenience. Even with changes in classification, American cheese slices remain familiar and accessible additions to daily meals, demonstrating the lasting cultural significance of simple, easy-to-use products. As food regulations and nutritional standards evolved, many familiar items underwent changes in classification. What once fit the legal definition of food may now fall into different categories based on ingredients, production methods, or nutritional composition. Yet these items remain part of everyday life, offering convenience, comfort, and continuity. They reflect the way American eating habits developed over time, shaped by advances in technology, shifts in household routines, and the steady presence of recognizable flavors. While their labels may have changed, their place at the table has not. They continue to represent the small, familiar moments that connect generations and traditions. Thank you for joining us today. If you enjoyed this gentle look at the foods we still enjoy, feel free to like or follow for more calm explorations of everyday history.